Welcome back to the episode 1 of Not a Business English podcast, the show where we take real-world news stories and turn them into clear, usable English for your career. I'm your host, Lydia. If you are an intermediate English learner looking to sound more natural when discussing global trends, management decisions, or corporate strategy, you are in the right place. Today, we're taking a closer look at a major ongoing business topic reported by outlets like Business Insider: global workforce changes and corporate layoffs. Now, I know, reading financial news in English can feel overwhelming. Terms like restructuring, downsizing, or severance pop up everywhere. But do not worry. By the end of this 15-minute episode, you'll not only understand what is happening in the market, but you'll also master 10 key business vocabulary words and phrases that you can start using immediately in your meetings and professional conversations. Grab your tea or coffee, open up your notebook, and let's jump right into today's news. So let's begin with the big picture. What has been making headlines across business news platforms recently? Major global companies across technology, logistics, and finance, names like Amazon, Meta, Oracle, UPS, and Citigroup, have announced significant changes to their workforces. For instance, logistics giant UPS made news with plans to realign its operational network, while major tech companies announced reductions to free up budget for new infrastructure. This brings us to our very first keyword, headcount. In business English, headcount, a single noun, simply refers to the total number of people employed by the company. When executives talk about reducing headcount, they mean they are decreasing the overall number of staff. You might hear a manager say, "Our primary goal this quarter is to stabilize our headcount." Another term you hear constantly in these news reports is layoff. A layoff, noun, or the verb to lay off, occurs when an employer ends a worker's employment, not because the employee made a mistake or performed poorly, but because the business no longer needs that position or must reduce expenses. This is a critical distinction for English learners. Being fired means losing your job due to poor performance or conduct. Being laid off means the job itself was eliminated due to economic or operational shifts. When employees are laid off, organizations typically offer them a severance package. A severance package is a combination of pay and benefits provided to an employee upon termination. It often includes several weeks or months of continued salary along with extended health coverage. For example, a company might offer a departure agreement containing up to 16 weeks of pay as part of their severance package. Now, you might be asking, why are so many profitable companies making these decisions? Many people assume a business only cuts jobs when it is struggling financially. However, many current workforce changes stem from a broader process called corporate restructuring. Restructuring refers to reorganizing a company's operational, financial, or management framework to make it more efficient or profitable. In today's landscape, one of the primary drivers behind restructuring is automation. Automation means using technology, software, or machines to perform tasks without requiring human intervention. As artificial intelligence and machine learning advance, companies are automating routine data entry, basic software testing, and initial customer support tasks. Because of this surge in automation, corporate leadership may decide to scale back certain departments. To scale back is a useful phrasal verb that means to reduce the size, scope, or expenditure of something. For instance, a firm might decide to scale back its traditional marketing budget to allocate more capital toward AI research. This brings us to another phrase you will read frequently in executive reports: cost-cutting measure. A cost-cutting measure is any specific action taken by a company to reduce its overall expenses and preserve cash. Cutting travel budgets, reducing office space, or consolidating teams are all classic examples of cost-cutting measures. When implementing these changes, management rarely stops operations overnight. Instead, they choose to phase out older roles or legacy systems. To phase out is another essential phrasal verb, meaning to stop using, producing, or offering something gradually over a period of time. A company might phase out an outdated software product over 6 months while retraining staff for new roles. Why undergo all these change? Ultimately, leadership wants the organization to be agile. Agile, an adjective, means able to move quickly, adapt smoothly, and make fast decisions in response to market changes. In business, an agile business model allows a company to pivot when consumer demand shifts. Finally, when a company faces decline in performance and needs a complete turnaround, leadership develops a turnaround strategy. A turnaround strategy is a structured plan designed to reverse financial losses and restore profitability. Workforce realignment is very often a core component of a company's broad turnaround strategy. And let me pause here and consolidate the 10 key vocabulary words and phrases we have covered today. You can even write these down in your notes. The first one is layoff, which is a noun, or to lay off, which means ending employment due to business change, not poor performance. For example, the company announced a layoff affecting 5% of its workforce. The second, headcount, the total number of employees in an organization. We need to keep our headcount steady until next year. Restructuring, reorganizing corporate structures to improve efficiency. The engineering division is undergoing restructuring. Severance package, pay and benefits given to an employee upon position termination. All departing employees received a 4-month severance package. Automation, using technology or systems to perform work automatically. Automation has significantly increased our processing speed. To scale back, to decrease the size, amount, or scope of an activity or budget. The agency had to scale back its expansion plans. Cost-cutting measure, an action taken to reduce business expenses. Restricting business class travel was an effective cost-cutting measure. To phase out, to discontinue something step by step over time. The department will phase out manual record keeping by Q4. Agile, able to move, adapt, and make decisions quickly. We need an agile team to respond to fast-changing customer demands. Turnaround strategy, a targeted plan to restore profitability to a struggling business. The new director introduced a clear turnaround strategy. So, using these formal terms will help your spoken and written English sound much more polished, professional, and natural during workplace discussions. So here's your listener challenge for this week. Pick 2 terms from our list, specifically our phrasal verbs scale back and phase out, and write 2 practice sentences about your own industry or work environment. Say them out loud and to practice your pronunciation, rhythm, and word stress. And thank you so much for tuning in to Not Your Business English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit follow, leave a review, a comment, and share it with your friend or colleague who is also mastering English. I'm Lydia, and I'll catch you in the next episode.